All right, see this guy over here? I'm walking right toward him. Here we are. Smile. This guy's my limo driver. You're my limo driver tonight?
Yeah.
Are you going to drive me somewhere?
Yeah, where you need to go?
Downtown? To the Hilton?
The Hilton? Hold on.
Where am I going?
The Regency Hyatt.
I'm going to the Regency Hyatt. We're going to the Regency Hyatt.
So right now, would you please join and welcome me, J.L. Glass.
Marriage is tough. My wife is insisting that we work on our communication skills and on being honest. She says that's the way to build trust, and trust is the foundation of a good relationship. So the other day I thought I better get going on this, and we were in the grocery store and doing some shopping, and then we went over to the clothing store. She tried on a pair of jeans. She said, "Honey, does this pair of jeans make my butt look big?" I said, "No, honey, your butt looked big long before you put them jeans on." I was just trying to be honest and communicate. And that's not what she meant. It's not easy. I heard that Google's come out with something I finally have approved to be something beneficial in my life. You all heard of Google Glasses? They now have installed Photoshop on those glasses. My wife has never looked better in all of her life. I am so excited. I put those things on in the morning. She has no idea what I'm filtering. But she's looking really sharp. There are some good things about marriage, though. There's studies that show that married couples experience lower levels of cancer, lower levels of heart disease, and depression. That's pretty good. What they don't tell you, though, is single people have fewer headaches and a lot more fun. See, when they do this research, man, to me, they never finish it. I wanted to share with you before you start this whole weekend, the rest of this week, doing things to better your business, two things that I would like to challenge you with to take home with you in the area of changing this world. It's no secret to you, nor is it to myself, that when we turn the news on, it can be pretty depressing. And when you open up your little Yahoo News app, it can be pretty depressing. And I got to thinking, what are a couple things that we could do as Americans that might help change the world? Because you see, I don't want to end up at the end of my life being one of these people that didn't at least try. Some of us have sat around for far too long and let everybody else build the roads so that we could just drive on them. Well, I want to give you guys a couple of things that I hope to admonish you with that you can take home and hopefully do something to change your world. And here it is. Number one, I want you to love your neighbor. I know what you're thinking, and you need to not be thinking that. I know what you're thinking. You're thinking, well, that's not going to be tough, man. The guy's wife next door, she's pretty good looking. No. Listen, if the grass is greener on the other side of your fence, you need to water your own lawn. Right? That's right. Look at these women. They're like, yeah, What I mean by love your neighbor is this. How many of you have lived in the neighborhood for how long and don't know your neighbor's names? I've lived in the neighborhood for the last 4 years where prior to me showing up, nobody in that neighborhood knew each other. Today, there's about 10 homes that all know each other's first names. They have each other's cell numbers, and we love to razz each other when you're out in the front yard. Why? Because I don't like to sit around and let other people build my roads. I started meeting all of my neighbors the first day we moved in. And now you know what goes on in our neighborhood? Matt across the street, young couple over there, always working on cars. He started something that none of us want to finish, and that's this. Every time somebody's out in their yard, one of us will yell, "Hey, get back in your house." Just for fun. Just for something to do. We can't wait till somebody new moves in. It's going to be such a shock to them. They're going to be like, "Did you hear those people just told us to get back in our house?" I think that if people learned about each other, you would not hear people looking into a news camera after some neighbor has been accused of murder saying, "You know, they always kind of just kept to themselves." You ever heard that? You always hear that about the murder suspect, don't you? He always kept to himself. I got something for you. How about you also kept to yourself, which is why you don't know who he is? And maybe he would have been a lot better off in life had everybody gotten a hold of him and met him and said, "Hey, how are you doing? Why don't you come over for dinner? Why don't you come over for a barbecue?" One of the things that I did in my neighborhood is I started building me a garden in the backyard, and then I started giving away stuff. It's really easy to make friends with your neighbors when you come showing up with a big sack of cucumbers because you're new at gardening and you had no idea that if you plant 30 cucumber plants, you're going to have 5,000 cucumbers. I had no idea that you only need one zucchini plant. I planted 16 zucchinis. Do you know how many zucchinis my neighbors are eating right now? A lot. But it's really easy to make friends with your neighbors when you become one of these people that just gets out of your house, walks across the street, and says, "Look, I can throw this at you or I can give it to you, but I don't want this zucchini. I don't want this corn and I don't want these green beans. I've already done enough damage." You can start a garden club. You can go door to door and just offer to help people shovel their driveway. I have a neighbor that's 90-some years old, and the last thing I want to see him do is go into a nursing home. But you know how he's going to stay in his house the longest? Only if the neighbors take care of his driveway. Because in Minnesota, we have what's called snow. It's really cold. And sometimes it's deep, and it won't go away. So I have two elderly neighbors that I try to look after. I'm challenging you to leave this place, go home to your neighborhood, and instead of pulling in that car and that driveway and into that garage and letting the garage door go down behind you and walking in the house and grabbing your beer and sitting down and watching TV and reading the news and yelling at the kids, I want you to park the car in the driveway. I want you to walk next door and say hi to John when he gets home, or to Mary, or to Sue, or whoever it is, and just say, "You know what, I've lived here long enough, I can't stand it anymore. I need to have more friends. My wife doesn't like me, my kids don't like me, I need somebody to talk to. Will you be my friend?" That's what I need you to do. Because it will change the world when you start changing your neighborhood. You cannot sit around and wait for NBC and CBS and ABC and the political yahoos in Washington to figure it out. Not going to happen. Next thing I want you to do, and this is the last of two things, so it shouldn't be hard for those of you that have ADHD along with me. I want you to prioritize in your life mentoring the next generation. Do you know why we have kids bullying other kids? It's not because the kids don't know maybe that they're doing the wrong thing or the right thing or that whatever. You know why they're doing this? Because there's not enough adults paying attention to kids. There's too many adults letting kids just do whatever they want. I've had neighbor kids go by that did the wrong thing, and I said, "Hey, come here. I want to talk to you. You see where you hit that mailbox with that baseball bat? It's not a good idea, because it's my neighborhood. I own this whole neighborhood." Word on the street is you mess with these mailboxes, you're going to be in trouble. What could I do to keep you busy some other way than smacking mailboxes? I went after a kid that stole my son's bicycle one time, and I found him. And I called the cops. I said, hey, I found the guys that stole my son's bicycle. All right, we'll be right there, Mr. Glass. And they showed up. Cop said, what do you want me to do? I said, I don't want you to do anything. I don't even need you to do anything. I just want you to stand here because you're scary. He followed me to the apartment. I knocked on the door. This mom came to the door. I said, your son is a kid who stole my son's bicycle. And I'm here to get that bicycle back, but I want to talk to you and your son before I leave. I said, this here whole neighborhood is my neighborhood. I'm taking ownership of the world I live in. And I don't like people that steal bicycles. Nobody does. So I just am going to ask you before I take this bicycle home if you won't have a discussion with your boy about stealing other people's stuff. Because the next time I come over here, I'm not going to have the conversation. This guy will. Today you're getting off lucky. Just sit him down and tell him what's right and wrong. We're not telling our kids what's right and wrong. We're waiting till it's on the news. And then we sit around and complain. These kids are not the problem. You want a better world? Do something about it. If you don't have kids, you don't have grandkids, kidnap one. Straighten them out and then send them back. Pull them in your garage, shut the door. No, don't do that. There might be somebody from Iowa that's taking me serious right now. Anybody here from Iowa? That's a long way from here. I should be safe. Before I finish, I want to tell you this. My two kids grew up hearing me haunt them every day of their lives. Every day, I never failed once telling them this little saying: the world is full of followers, and you're not one of them. Andy and Jesse heard it forever. The world's full of followers, you're not one of them. Every elevator that breaks down, somebody inside is going to be the leader. Every car crash people come across, somebody's going to jump out and go pull somebody out of that burning vehicle. Every classroom in high school that's disrupted, somebody's going to stand up and take charge. But the world's full of followers. You don't have to be one of them. I'm challenging you this weekend, when you leave, to go back to your neighborhood, to your part of the country, and to look in the mirror and ask yourself, what can I do to start changing this world? And then answer yourself by saying, get outside, go meet my neighbors, help raise their kids, help them, eat zucchini and have cucumbers. I will guarantee if everybody in this room does that, and then you start telling other people what you're doing, America could change in a heartbeat. It's not going to come from the top on down. It's going to come from your front door on out. Thank you very much.